Hello, good morning students. In the last video lecture, we discussed what is supply, what is the difference between stock and supply, and in the last we also discussed law of supply. Law of supply expresses functional relationship between price of the product and supply of a commodity, supply of a product. So like demand, it also it expresses the change in direction of change in supply. Okay, key market price increases, supply of commodity also increases. So there is a positive relation, there is a direct relationship between price of the product and supply of a commodity. But as in the case of law of demand, law of supply also expresses only direction, indicating only direction of change, not proportion or percentage of change. Okay, for to know percentage change or proportionate change, we have to discuss elasticity of supply. So today we are going to discuss one of the most important syllabus topics of your syllabus, elasticity of supply. So what is elasticity of supply? Elasticity of supply measures the degree of responsiveness of quantity supply to change in its own price, because price is the most important determinant of supply. So what is elasticity of supply? Percentage or proportionate change in quantity supplied due to percentage or proportionate change in its own price. प्राइस में चेंज होने से क्वांटिटी सप्लाई कितना चेंज होता है वो दिखाएगा इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ सप्लाई. ओके, सो इलास्टिसिटी ऑफ सप्लाई इज इंडिकेटिंग proportionate change or percentage change, not only direction but also proportionate change or percentage change. So as same elasticity of demand, so here elasticity of supply, so what is the formula? Delta Q upon Q into P upon delta P. डेल्टा QX भी लिख सकते हैं हम लोग. QX मतलब क्वांटिटी सप्लाइड ऑफ X commodity. So what does delta Q indicate? Original quantity supplied. What is delta Q indicate? Because delta always indicating change in mathematics. So change in quantity supplied. P original price, delta P change in price. This is the example. Suppose price of a commodity, market price rupees 40, 1000 units of X commodity is supplied. Suppose market price increase from 40 to 45, supply of commodity also increases from 1000 units to 1200 units. तो हमें ये एग्जांपल से पता चलता है कि मार्केट प्राइस बढ़ने से क्वांटिटी सप्लाइड इंक्रीज हुई. मगर व्हेन वी यूज दिस फॉर्मूला, elasticity formula, we will come to know the percentage or proportionate change. So ES is elasticity of supply, delta Q upon Q into P upon delta P. Delta Q कितना है? Quantity supplied increase from 1000 units to 1200 units. So difference is 200. Original quantity supplied 1000. Original price 40. Change in price 5. 5 is 8. So 8 upon 5 मतलब 1.6. So elasticity is greater than 1. So this is the case when elasticity is greater than 1. Proportionate change in quantity supplied is greater than proportionate change in price. Okay. So as per your syllabus, we will discuss the types of price elasticity of supply. First type is perfectly elastic. As there is first type क्या था? Demand में perfectly elastic demand. So here perfectly elastic price. What is perfectly elastic supply? When perfectly elastic supply implies that when quantity supplied change or supply of a commodity change without change in price of the product, that is known as perfectly elastic demand. Suppose price is constant. This is SS curve. Price OP constant. Even though supply of commodity increase from OA to OB, okay, that is known as perfectly elastic supply. even at constant price when supply of commodity change, or when small change in price leads to very huge change in supply, that is known as perfectly elastic supply. So obviously perfectly elastic, so here value of elasticity is infinite. Now second elasticity, relatively elastic supply. Proportionate change in quantity supplied is greater than proportionate change in its own price. It is known as relatively elastic supply. जैसे हमने डिमांड में फ्लैटर कर्व ड्रॉ किया था, यहां भी वो सेम करना पड़ेगा. एसएस कर्व इंडिकेट सप्लाई ऑफ अ कमोडिटी. ओरिजिनल प्राइस इज ओपी, ओरिजिनल क्वांटिटी सप्लाई इज ओक्यू. सपोज प्राइस राइज फ्रॉम ओपी टू ओपी1, supply of commodity increase from OQ to OQ1. So you can see the difference delta, okay. Yeah, proportionate change in supply, proportionate change in supply of a commodity is greater than proportionate change in price. Suppose 5%, 8% or 9%, that is known as relatively. 5% change in supply price leads to about 8 to 9% change in supply. That is an example of relatively elastic supply, and obviously elasticity will be greater than 1. Unitary elastic supply, जैसे unitary elastic demand वैसे unitary elastic supply. Proportionate or percentage change in quantity supplied is exactly equal to percentage change in price. It is known as unitary elastic supply of a commodity. Okay, 5%, 5%. So how to draw? Original price OP, original quantity OQ. When it increase from OQ to P1, increase from OQ to OQ. 5%, 5%. Reason? What is this? This is unitary elastic supply of a commodity. Okay, 5 divided 5, मतलब elasticity is equal to 1. Okay. Next, relatively inelastic supply. Relatively inelastic supply मतलब proportionate change in supply of a commodity is less than proportionate change in price. Suppose price change by 10% and supply of commodity change by 5%. That is known as relatively inelastic supply. Okay, so here in case of relatively elastic, हमको flatter curve draw करना पड़ा. यहाँ we have to draw steeper curve. Okay, so this is SS curve, is supply curve. Original price is OP, original quantity supply is OQ. When price rise from OQ to OQ1, supply of commodity also rises from OQ to OQ1. So you can see the difference. 9% change in price leads to only 5% change in supply. Okay, यहाँ से बिल्कुल opposite. This is relatively elastic supply. This is relatively inelastic supply. Your value is greater than 1, so your value will be less than 1. Okay, perfectly elastic, relatively elastic, unitary elastic, and relatively inelastic. So last concept बाकी रहेगा perfectly inelastic supply. Okay, quantity supplied, price. So this is supply curve is vertical straight line. When price increase from OP to OP1, when supply of a commodity remains constant, so obviously value of elasticity is 0. Okay, so in this video lecture we discuss what is supply of a commodity, when elasticity of supply, degree of responsiveness or sensitiveness of a quantity supplied to change in its own price. In simple words, percentage change in quantity supplied due to percentage change in its own price. There are 5 types of price elasticity of supply. First is perfectly elastic supply. Value of elasticity is greater than 1. Second is relatively elastic supply, value of elasticity is perfectly elastic value of elasticity is infinite. In relatively elastic supply, value of elasticity is greater than 1. Third, unitary elastic, value of elasticity is equal to 1. Fourth, relatively inelastic, value of elasticity is less than 1. And last, perfectly inelastic, value of elasticity is equal to 0. Okay, आज के लिए इतना रहेगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच.